Welcome back to the channel. Today we're with CUPRA's Tavascan, the second electric CUPRA after the CUPRA Born. We're going to have a look around the outside, the inside, and then take it out for a drive, and we're going to do some nighttime shots as well, just to show you how blingy it is at nighttime outside and inside. So let's get started. I've had this the last 2 weeks around Christmas, and it's been a real head turner on the road. A lot of people wondering what it is, something totally different on the road, as much as it's based on that MEB platform. So it does have its cousins in the Volkswagen group, the ID.5, the VW Coupe, so it is that coupe roofline, but it's just something I think CUPRA do a great job of their designing, and I had it lucky enough to meet the CUPRA designer a couple of years ago, or Jorge. But anyway, starting off, price is probably the first thing we're going to start off with, and this one at the moment is just coming in underneath, starting at 42,000 euros, just under 40,000 euros. That's base level, but the 77 kilowatt hour battery, non-metallic paint, and CUPRA are matching the SEAI grant, and so that's a lot of car for under 42,000 euros. Moving on to the design of it, some nice sculpts in the bonnet and some really nice venting going on. One of the first electric vehicles, in Europe with an illuminated badge front and rear. I'm going to show you that later on, what that looks like at night time. You've got these gorgeous LED matrix lights that do a nice little sequence when you open them up. Has the 3 triangles. Now the CUPRA signature. Moving down then, we've got some gloss black with some more CUPRA design language, and you've got that CUPRA copper element down at the bottom as well. I really like it. This is the metallic blue, comes in 6 different colors. There is no Franken underneath now, and I'll show you what that looks like in underneath the bonnet, but otherwise nice aggressive shark nose on the road. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Let's have a look along the side. Down along the side, there are some things some people aren't a fan of, and it is that gloss black edging all the way around. SUV, you have to have the wheel arches in gloss black. Wheels come in 19s, 20s and 21s. These are 255 40 21s, front and rear. And this is the 21-inch with the copper effect on it as well. Aero, again, real CUPRA, you couldn't deny it, and they've really taken that copper to be their own design side of things. You've got your gloss black wing mirror with some matte blacking underneath, indicator and retractable, and a gloss black front A-pillar, so you've got that helmet design going on. Your flush door handles, electric. This is produced in China. I'm finding the build quality different to other MEB platforms. Better or worse, that'll depend on, but I find that the sensor isn't as sensitive as other Volkswagen Group cars. Sometimes I go to it and I'll nearly pull the handle because there is a release on it there. I've gotten used to it over the last couple of weeks, but just jumping in and out of other MEB Volkswagen Group cars, I found that sensor not as sensitive. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Glass black B-pillar, keyless entry, keyless start. And down along the side then you've got that gloss black as well. I washed this a couple of days ago. It's been a bit muggy and stormy over the Christmas, and so it is getting pretty dirty. Not that it's hard to keep, you just have to wash it a bit. Down along the side then, overall length 4.6 meters long, width 1.8, 1.6 meters tall, and then that wheelbase is 2.8 meters long. So again, very similar to a lot of other Volkswagen Group siblings. Charging, it's coming at 11 kilowatt on AC and up to 135 kilowatt on DC, 10 to 80% in around that 30 minutes, as seems to be becoming the norm. And then you've got that coupe roofline. But we move the camera around to have a look around the back. Down at the back we have that high level brake lamp. Some interesting aero choices right at the top of the hinge there. You've got your boot slip spoiler. That's kind of integrating into the lights. Again, an illuminated CUPRA badge in the rear. Coast to coast light bar, large CUPRA name mark, word mark. You don't have Tavascan written on anywhere on the body except for in the lights on the side, and just in the taillights. Power taillift, 540 litres with a 40-60 split with a ski hatch, good big wide opening, and flat entry. If you want the floor up that high, you can drop it down. There is a subfloor, and then there's also another well in underneath. This one has the Sennheiser sound system, so half of that well is taken up with a subwoofer, and the other half then has that tyre repair kit. But decent sized boot, decent sized space, and you've got that parcel shelf as well. For the interior shots, I'll switch to point of view camera, and you have that copper strike that moves all the way along here, and some tougher plastic on the top, but you have this interesting fabric here with these lovely LED lights, and I'll do some nighttime footage on that. Some soft touch down here. You've got your window down button, and then you've got some decent pockets as well. Sennheiser sound system. You've got your 3 ISOFIX, 2 in the rear and 1 in the front. It has this kind of lovely copper. You can see it kind of in the embossing of those seats. And that ISOFIX is via some easily accessible flaps. Nearly a 100% flat floor, 2 USB Type-Cs, and you've got the dual tri-zone back here with some heated seats options down here. These seats have pockets in the back. You've got that V design. And this seat has come back for me because it is memory presets, but I can fit my feet in underneath. Got not bad. Now this seat will move forward once I sit into it. And then headroom, even with that sloping roofline, I'm touching the headrest. It's got about a centimetre. Would you fit 5 adults, 3 adults across the back? Probably not 3, but 2 for sure, and 1 in the middle. Yeah, nice. It's got arm, the ability for grab handles all the way around, and coat hooks, and it has the touch sensitive reading lights. So that is the rear of the CUPRA Tavascan. I've got that blind as well if I want to use that blind on that sunroof. In the driver door then you still have that same tougher textured, but there is a bit of give in that one, and you've got this interesting kind of dark grey blue. It's nearly like a scale effect. You've got that CUPRA design in it, that copper, and then on that door again you've got that ambient lighting in underneath. You've got the rear front selector for the windows. It feels different because this is coming out of China. It's made in a different factory, and it just feels, I don't know, more responsive, better quality. And you've got down here then you've got the door pockets, pre-seats, pre-select 3 presets. You've got your lumbar support, these gorgeous sports seats. The sun is very bright today, so it's hard to see it. But from the outside you can see these V designs here, and it kind of copies the CUPRA logo, but these sports seats are beautiful. Moving inside, you've got this whale tail design is what I like to call it, because the copper element goes along the top and then it comes down into the center spine, but we'll get to that now in a minute. Over my right knee is the lighting control, and again it feels different to the other MEB lighting. It feels MEB platforms better built. Your fan outlet, head-up display, driver display, and you can change what that looks like, and you can change what the head-up display, and you can see augmented reality there, the CUPRA logo. So when you've got the satellite navigation engaged, the arrows pop up in front of you. You can see the CUPRA logo there floating in midair. The steering wheel is 3-spoke. We call this a third one. Some gloss black on it, and it does have that haptic buttons. Some people aren't a fan. I've been chatting to a couple of Born drivers that are going to be upgrading to the Tavascan, and they have no problem with it. You've got your drive mode selector here, the CUPRA button, which defaults directly to the CUPRA driver setting, CUPRA profile setting if you press that. 4-stage regenerative braking paddles, your drive mode selector on the right here with the park at the end, and on the left you've got your indicators and lights, high beam and wipers. The steering wheel is reach and rake, large 15-inch screen, fairly responsive. Would have seen this in the Volkswagen ID.7. You've got your dual climate control down the bottom here, and then the volume with the off button over there. Somebody was asking me, Buddha was asking me on one of the forums, he is going to get one of these, I believe it's on order. How did I find this living with the central spine, the hazard lights there? I actually didn't mind it at all. Behind it you have your wireless charging pad, a small little shelf here, 2 USB Type-Cs, but underneath that then it's just carpet. There isn't any storage down there. Cup holders, kind of on the small side, illuminated, and there's a copper ring around them as well, and butterfly, decent underneath the actual cups there. Half glove box, That sun is playing devil with me today. And then for me, headroom massive, like no problem at all. Efficiency I've been getting, we go into EV, charging, optimizing, settings. No, we're looking for range. So you can precondition the battery, start battery heating. So it's saying at the moment it would a rapid charging capability of 58 kilowatt because we're at 59% of where it could be to make an efficient charging. All the other bits and pieces are there, fairly responsive, very responsive actually, in fairness to it. So with the key in my pocket, as I walk towards the car, you can see that the illumination, so we're getting the headlights blinking away, we're also getting the CUPRA badge illuminated and some backlighting all the way along here. That's on the front, really pops at night time, and these LED lights. As well as that, then in the rear, we also have the CUPRA badge, and it links up to itself. That's illuminated as well, and those three triangles. When you open the door, you can see some illumination on the door itself. And when I get in and engage the car, when the door is open then, it does engage a red light on this door. I'm trying to make it active here now. So let me turn off the light so you can see what it's like inside with the lights off. Actually, hold on a second now. So at the moment, I've turned this off. Let me turn off my... There we go. And we're going to go to lighting. Lighting. So it's currently off, which means we don't have any ambient lighting behind the dash and we don't have it on the door. Now, if I open the door, the ambient lighting in the door goes red. So if any oncoming car, they see a red light. Let me close that again. And then let's turn it on to liquid. So you can see the door front and passenger at the rear. So depending on what color you go for. And then there's also an ambient light around the dash. You can see up the dash comes around by that whale tail. And so you can change it to different colors. Electrified is the Nevo color that I've been working with the last couple of days. And then you can individualize it as to what color you want it. You can go into settings and then you can pick the color. So the color that you want for the dash. Lots of colors there. And what color do you want on the door so you can have it. And then also how bright you want each of the sections, which is nice to see. And then you can set up the driver profile. So again, it matches what drive mode you're in. But yeah, it's lovely. A lot of people commenting on it. You can see even around the cup holders here, and the element and the accents there. So on the door, in the dash, and as I said, when you open the door, whether the lights are on or off, that goes red. So that is the ambient lighting on the CUPRA Tavascan. Let's bring it out for a drive. What's it like driving the CUPRA Tavascan? So I'll talk about consumption right at the end of this section, but we did down to Mayo, Portarlington, then Mayo, then back up from Mayo to Dublin. So I've done a good 700, 800, maybe 1,000 kilometers in over the Christmas. So keyless entry, keyless start. There is a start-stop button on the side of the steering column. And then like all other MEBs, it's into drive. There's two-stage regenerative braking on the stalk, but then there's another differential. There's 4 levels in total if you want to eke into it. So in D mode, it has to be in D mode for you to use the pedals. And so it is in automatic. And then you can press over here and you can see at the top of the screen, you can increase it 1, 2, 3. And that's your recuperation of it before you go to B mode. So if you go into B mode, it just removes the regenerative braking options. You can press the paddles, but it doesn't make any difference. Put it back into D, and then you can bring it back down again. And so you can see the little recuperation beside the left-hand side there. So 3 rolls up, and then down to automatic. That is the regenerative braking levels on the CUPRA Tavascan. Let's go back to driving. Very smooth, very quiet. Even though it's on the 21-inch wheels, And this is the Endurance 6 model. So this is coming in at just under 60,000 euros. So obviously it's a step up from that Endurance 4 that I talked about at the very start of the review, that is coming in with that SEAI grant sorry about the sun now, I'm going to try and get into an area where there isn't as much glaring sunshine in this January weather, coming in at under 42,000 euros. Suspension is nicely weighted. It's not too firm and it's not too soft, which is good. But everything else is very MEB. Even though this is produced in China, it is, the indicator click is the exact same. Good visibility out of the wing mirrors as well. We have blind spot built into the housing rather than built into the glass, but they're a good wide size, which I always like across the Volkswagen Group cars. And away we go, nice and smooth. It has that light at the bottom of the windscreen as well, that kind of status light that lets you know what's happening. So if it feels that you need to, if you're on the cruise control, which I was on the way down to Port Arlington, it felt that I wasn't holding onto the wheel or giving it enough feedback. And so it started flashing red, but it also will help with, I did a whole video on the ID light in the Volkswagen ID.4, but as you come up to a junction, it'll flash blue and then it'll decrease, and that will show you to say, do you know what, if you let the car use its own rolling resistance, you don't need to brake on it. Seats are super comfortable. It is nice and quiet as well. And let's get up to this track of... So suspension, it is McPherson strut in the front and multi-link in the rear. It is discs in the front, drums on the rear across like all MEBs. So, but the brake feel is nice. I find sometimes the automatic braking is a bit too sensitive. When I'm reversing into a spot, it feels that there's a bit too much going on, so it'll jam on the brakes. Just be aware of that. But the cruise control was good. Set it and forget it. Lane keep decent. Yeah. The different drive modes are Drive, CUPRA, Individual, Range, which is their eco model, Comfort is the one which I leave it in all the time, then Performance, and then CUPRA. So there's a couple of Performance and CUPRAs, but if you press the CUPRA button, that'll bring you straight to the difference between either the Performance version or the CUPRA version. Is there much really in the difference? A bit. I'm happy to keep it in Comfort. I'm not looking to win any races. Speed sign recognition. Head-up display is nice. Actually, you can have it the full width, and so it's kind of mirroring what's in the driver display. But you can also then change that view and minimize it just down to, hopefully this camera picked up what's after happening on the driver display. But then I just click up and it says you're now able to operate the head-up display, and I can change, and it can just be the speed sign recognition and what speed I'm currently doing, or it can make it so that the right-hand side is my satellite navigation information, what's happening around, but also the right-hand side then is my consumption figure. Consumption I've been getting on the 77 kilowatt hour battery, I've been getting on those longer journeys up and down to Mayo. And it wasn't too warm either, about 18 and a half kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I'll stick up the miles per kilowatt on the bottom of the screen, so you have a bit of that as well, so that you're able to see what the average rate is. There is also a temperature indication as to telling me it's 4 degrees outside and a little frost symbol. So there is a heat pump that you can get. I don't believe it's a standard like all other MEBs. I think you have to spec it. Jump into the comments and let me know if I've made that mistake on that one. Also, I can't seem to find a control for the boot trunk lift gate opening. Usually there's a button inside. I can't see it. Sometimes it's up here in some random spaces, but no, I can't see it anywhere else. So consumption, drive, seats are good. Yeah. And that the couple of different, you can see there's a little, you can hopefully again see it. I'll put some B-roll in afterwards, the recuperation level, or you can bring it back down to automatic. But overall, yeah, I've really enjoyed my 2 weeks with the CUPRA Tavascan, and I think we're going to see a lot of them on the road. As I said, it's been a real head turner, And I think for 42,000 euros for a 77 kilowatt hour battery, endurance 4 level, as I said, this is endurance 6. There is an all-wheel drive VZ version as well, which comes with more power, stats on the electric motors, etc. The CUPRA Tavascan comes with a 210 kilowatt electric motor on the rear, giving you 286 PS. And then the VZ version will have a 250 kilowatt electric output across both axles, giving you 340 PS. You also have the option for a DCC, dynamic chassis control, if you want that more driver feedback feel to it. Hopefully you've enjoyed that look around and some of the ambient lighting settings and the drive of the CUPRA Tavascan. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the like button, leave a comment, share this video, and remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.